All right, folks, how you doing? Welcome back. So this is the Cast No Shadows Part 2. Disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. A global flood and ice age. The close encounter with Venus, which resulted in a global flood and ice age, submerged much of the vast Atlantean continent. For some strange reason, most historians have overlooked or elected to ignore the overwhelming evidence that the principal body of humankind who initiated new cultures after the global deluge were the Phoenicians. Colonel Waddell. A great deal of research into this matter was conducted by the late British anthropologist and linguist, Professor Elie Waddell. During many years spent in India, Waddell came to the realization that the list of ancient Indo-Aryan kings in the Mahabharata epic corresponded with the names of early Phoenician rulers. In the Pali language of ancient India, these Indo-Aryans refer to themselves as Katio Aryo, from which Aryan is derived, meaning the noble ones. Goddess of water Bharati. The Phoenicians were great road builders. Many of the roads radiated from their capital city, Boghaz-Köi, the traditional home of St. George. Their architecture incorporated the massive cyclopean masonry typical of pre-dynastic Egypt and Central America. The Gilgamesh epic, which I read, claims that the first rulers of Mesopotamia came from the Mount Hermon region. The ruling Phoenician clan was the Bharat, who gave their name to their tutelary goddess of water, Bharati. The prototype Britannia. The Egyptian goddess of water was Bariti. Phoenician coins depict Bharati sitting on a chair adorned with the red cross of St. George. In one hand, she holds a cornucopia while holding the tiller of a ship in the other. She is the prototype Britannia, and in the later Roman era, their goddess Fortunia. Phoenician place names and inscriptions on standing stones and stone circles attest to the fact that the Phoenicians began colonizing Britain as early as 2900 BC. The Newton Stone. A typical example is the Newton Stone in Aberdeenshire, Scotland. The monolith bears a Phoenician text, which translated to, quote, "This sun cross was raised to Bel by the Phoenician Icare, the Bharat of Cilicia." British coins of the pre-Roman era often bore such words as Bharat, Khati, or Indara, the latter being the Phoenician father god, whose name gave rise to the St. Andrew legend. Tasmi Kigal, the door of heaven. The earliest Phoenicians distinguished themselves from their nomadic, serpent-worshipping Aboriginal neighbours by their development of agriculture, which allowed them to pursue a higher level of civilization. The second Phoenician leader was so revered by his subjects for his introduction of the plough that he later was deified as the archangel of their monotheistic solar cult and given the name Tasmi Kigal, meaning the door of heaven. St. Michaelmas. So St. Michael, is represented on both Phoenician and pre-Roman British coins as a winged human with an ear of grain. His association with agriculture is celebrated by Christians in the form of harvest festivals, which occurs on Michaelmas Sunday. The deity is sometimes represented on Phoenician and Sumerian coins and seals by means of 5 circular impressions. Sir Flinders Petrie. So Sir Flinders Petrie claimed that the Phoenicians, quote, had a civilization equal or superior to that of Egypt in taste and skill, luxury far beyond that of the Egyptians, and technical work which could teach them rather than be taught. In view of the Phoenicians' advanced culture and their capability to construct buildings which incorporated gigantic blocks of stone, the author suggests that it was the Phoenicians, not the Egyptians, who built the Great Pyramid. The Age of Leo. In order to solve that puzzle, we first must determine the purpose for constructing the Great Pyramid in the first place. It is popularly claimed that the Sphinx was made in the form of a reclining lion, and that therefore it was sculpted in the age of Leo, which commenced circa 10,500 BC. A reclining Weimaraner dog. The Sphinx's face appears to have been remodeled at a later date, however, so we cannot know for certain that the creature's body is that of a lion. The body also bears an uncanny resemblance to that of a reclining Weimaraner dog, and it is orientated towards Sirius, the dog star, during the summer solstice. Moreover, in pre-dynastic Egypt, the most venerated deity was Seth, not Thoth. Seth was associated with the dog star. Colonizers from Mars. In summation, what the foregoing narrative suggests is that an Atlantean reptilian race defeated a technologically advanced terrestrial black race together with refugees or colonizers from Mars, the latter race subsequently establishing colonies on Earth. These colonists became stranded here after their home planet changed its orbit and lost its ability to sustain life on its surface. The Babylonian culture. A few survived the global flood and recreated civilization on planet Earth, becoming known as the Phoenicians. A branch of them established the Babylonian culture, which subsequently degenerated under a corrupt priesthood, but other Phoenicians successfully initiated an advanced civilization in Egypt during the pre-dynastic era. The Great Pyramid. So this group of Phoenicians constructed the Great Pyramid, whose principal function was the pumping of a restructured and life-enhancing bioenergetic water to the neighboring fields and townships on the Giza Plateau. The pre-dynastic advanced culture of Egypt that was developed by the Phoenicians declined. This is evidenced by the inability to continue the art of handling Cyclopean blocks of stone around 1450 BC. So thank you for joining me, and as always, leave your thoughts and comments down below. Cheers.